place. This came after some local residents started a petition for an early warning siren system. Kerrville City Manager Dalton Rice said local and regional partners will take steps to strengthen further preparedness.
We're now going to NTD's Andrew Thomas, who has more on how residents are reacting to the tragedy in Kerr County, Texas.
Volunteers walk up and down the banks of the Guadalupe River in Kerr County. They're trying to find survivors or the remains of the missing after torrential rains flooded parts of central Texas. Jessica James says the mom and her motivated her to help in Center Point.
You know, I've got 2 babies at home. It's the least I could do. You know, they're home safe, and there's people out there that they're missing their children or their family members. So I feel like it's the least I could do to help. So, yeah, it's what I would want if my kids were missing.
Daniel Ramirez is hopeful that they'll find survivors, but recognizes that it may be too late for some. The volunteer says the tragedy has rattled him and his community.
Seeing all the devastation and the trees and the clothing, the random bits of flotsam floating around the river really hits home, you know, how many people are affected by this, the depth of the tragedy and destruction that we're all going through right now.
About 20 miles west of Center Point, retired dentist Macon Ware was absorbing the weight of the tragedy. The 78-year-old resident of Hunt described his connection to Camp Mystic, where dozens of campers went missing.
A week ago at Camp Mystic, I had 5 granddaughters in Camp Mystic, and they finished their first session and they're home now. But some of their friends were there for the second session, and my heart goes out to all those little girls.
Sandra Killian has connections to Camp Mystic as well. For her, the tragedy is surreal.
It's killing me. And I know I know a very young counselor who actually stayed at our house right before she went to be her first-year counselor. She was one of the people that grabbed a kid and the kid floated away.
Search and rescue operations continue in Central Texas. Andrew Thomas, NTD News.
Meanwhile, the Dallas Cowboys, Houston Texans, and the NFL Foundation are helping those affected by the deadly flooding. The 2 teams and the foundation will donate $500,000 each to assist those impacted. Meanwhile, as search and rescue efforts continue in Texas, House Speaker Mike Johnson says lawmakers will take up funding as requests come in. 2 congressmen had family members rescued from the deadly floods, though one of them didn't make it. NTD's Melina Weiskup reports.
At least 27 deaths confirmed from Camp Mystic, a girls' summer camp in Texas hit hard by the flooding. Congressman Chip Roy from the district, he said the search efforts are still underway for the 11 people still missing.
You know, I met with the families last night of those who have still not found their little girls from Camp Mystic. It's one of the toughest meetings I've ever had to have. And
9-year-old Janie Hunt was confirmed dead. She was the cousin of Congressman Buddy Carter's granddaughters, who were rescued at the camp along with Congressman August Pfluger's daughters.
It touches so many families, and all we know to do at this moment is pray. Every available resource has been deployed. The president, of course, is dialed in and watching this develop moment by moment as we are, and we'll handle supplemental funding requests as they come in, but right now they're still trying to do rescue and recovery, and our hearts go out to all of them.
Texas Congressman Joaquin Castro said the state government should examine the funding on hand to prepare for future issues.
I think the state government should take a look at it's got surplus fund actually that's got tens of billions of dollars at this point. I think the governor and state government should look at what they can do in terms of longer term planning to be helpful in helping to prevent this kind of flooding to the extent that that is possible. Again, this all happened very fast. You're obviously dealing with a natural body of water. And so, you know, but there are things that you can do to mitigate the chances that this happens again in the future.
Congressman Tony Gonzalez says the flash floods have repeated over the past few weeks.
This long drought. So over the last several weeks, we've gotten a whole lot of rain. Just here in San Antonio, a few weeks ago, we had 13 people that drowned because of these flash floods. And when the flash flood hits, it hits at lightning speed, and it's very, very unpredictable.
Lawmakers return to Washington, D.C. this week. Debate around preparedness and disaster funding is likely to take center stage due to prolonged droughts and random flash floods. Reporting from Washington, D.C., Melina Weiskup, NTD News.
We're moving now to the Carolinas, where there's a new danger of flooding. Tropical